My book, Challenges to Democracy: New Authoritarianisms and Anti-Democratic Values, addresses the complex relationship between democracy and the challenges it faces in the contemporary context. Throughout its chapters, it examines the meaning and evolution of democracy, its interrelationship with liberalism and capitalism, as well as the emerging threats that endanger its existence. The book begins by emphasizing that the survival of democracy is conditioned by specific political and socioeconomic factors. Without these conditions, democracy tends to wither or fail to flourish. The book argues that it is crucial to discuss these factors and the challenges facing democracy, both from internal and external forces. It questions whether democracy has reached a geographical limit in its expansion and whether it can be degraded even in its historical strongholds. The book analyses how different modes of production and political regimes have competed throughout the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. Democracy is presented as a political regime that has survived multiple forms of authoritarianism. The book argues that while there have been significant advances in terms of human rights and social justice, questions remain about its viability in non-Western contexts and its ability to adapt to new realities. The text also explores the concept of liberal democracy, which has historically been exclusionary and has faced various types of autocracies. During the 20th century, liberal democracies were challenged by totalitarian regimes such as Nazi fascism and communism. Despite their eventual triumph after World War II, liberal democracies have faced internal contradictions, such as the economic inequalities exacerbated by neoliberalism since the 1980s. A central theme of the book is the analysis of new authoritarianisms that have emerged in recent decades. These movements are often linked to right-wing populism and represent a danger for consolidated democracies. The book discusses how these phenomena can erode fundamental democratic values and how democracies must adapt to meet these challenges. The book also examines the state of democracy in different regions of the world. In particular, it focuses on the difficulties of establishing effective democracies in the former communist space, as well as in the Arab world and Asia. In each of these contexts, there are cultural and political obstacles that complicate the establishment of democratic systems. Conclusions: the existence and survival of democracy is linked to the concurrence of very specific political and socio-economic conditions. Regardless of the presence of these conditions, it has been historically proven that democracy either does not flourish or withers. They have proven to be objective conditions that have been verified both in the cases of democracies that have become established and in those that have failed, or where it has not even been possible to make an attempt to bring it to fruition. On the basis of these three types of historical situations which are analyzed in this book, it is possible to deduce what these indispensable conditions for their existence have been. Discussing these conditions and analyzing their historical unfolding is one of the objectives pursued in this book. But democracies are also subject to continuous challenges from internal or external forces that try to destroy or deform them. The analysis of these challenges is the focus of the second part of this book. In the past, these challenges have been overcome, but today there are new challenges, as Russia's war against Ukraine has made brutally topical, to which special attention is given because these dangers have not been cancelled out. And today we are facing a third global anti-democratic wave, which raises the question not only of whether democracy has reached a geographical limit of expansion and will never become a globally valid political system, but whether there is a danger of a global rollback and even a danger of being degraded in its historical fiefdoms.